Welcome back. The details. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met on Saturday with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing, calling for joint efforts to build the Egyptian-China community with a shared future in the new era. The meeting came on the sidelines of President Sisi's visit to China to attend the opening ceremony of the 24th Winter Olympics, which is being held in the Chinese capital. We have more details in the coming report.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi held talks with Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping in Beijing on Saturday. During the meeting, President al-Sisi voiced his country's keenness to build on the momentum and fruitful results of the regular meetings between Egypt and China in order to have further natural cooperation and coordination in many fields, including trade, economic and development ones. President al-Sisi expressed his thanks to Xi for inviting him to attend the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympic Games opening ceremony. The president also stated that the Egyptian people look forward to President Xi's visit to Egypt after the pandemic. For his part, Xi said China and Egypt share similar visions and strategies in defending their own interests, pursuing common development, enhancing their people's well-being and promoting fairness and justice in the world, as the world is undergoing changes unseen in a century. Xi said the China-Egypt Comprehensive Strategic Partnership has become a model of solidarity, cooperation and mutual benefit between China, Arab, African and developing countries. Noting that China and Egypt built the first joint COVID-19 vaccine production line on the African continent last year, Xi said the two sides should continue to fight the pandemic in solidarity. Xi said China is willing to continue to provide vaccine support to Egypt, expand cooperation on joint vaccine production, help Egypt become a vaccination production center in Africa, and jointly make contributions to promoting accessibility and affordability of vaccines in developing countries. Xi also said China and Egypt should join hands to take the lead in the China-Arab and China-Africa cooperation, accelerate the building of the China-Arab community with a shared future for the new era, and promote African development and prosperity. The two leaders agreed on the importance of the role played by the Suez Canal Economic Zone in promoting China's Belt and Road Initiative with Egypt's Vision 2030, supporting its achievements of the desired goals, especially through the Egyptian-Chinese Zone for Economic and Trade Cooperation. In addition, both leaders discussed a number of regional and international issues of common interest, including the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, the Palestinian cause, as well as the crisis in Yemen, Syria and Libya. President al-Sisi is one of the 30 world leaders and heads of major international organizations who are in Beijing for the opening of the Winter Olympic Games.
Afterwards, President Sisi attended a banquet hosted by Chinese President Xi Jinping to honor the heads of states and government participating in the opening ceremony of the 24th Winter Olympics. President Sisi held a series of talks with a number of world leaders, including Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan, Uzbekistan's President Shavkat Mirziyoyev. The president also held talks with Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Qatar Emir Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, and UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. To continue with covering what's going on in Beijing, Chinese President Xi Jinping hosted a banquet for heads of states and international organizations attending the Winter Olympics, part of a diplomatic blitz following nearly 2 years without face-to-face meetings due to the pandemic. Xi has launched a diplomatic marathon in the lead-up to the Games, meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin and attending the Olympics opening ceremony later in the day with dozens of foreign guests. Besides Putin, the banquet guest list included Kazakhstan President Qasim Jomart Tokayev, Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, as well as a handful of leaders from the Europe and Asia Pacific. The Chinese president had individual meetings on the sidelines of the banquet on Saturday, including heads of Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan and Serbia. African leaders gather at a 35th round of African Union Summit on Saturday, trying to forge a coordinated response to the COVID-19 pandemic, security in the region, climate change, economic cooperation and African integration. The meeting in Ethiopian capital comes just 3 months after the country declared a state of emergency after rebellions. Northern forces threatened to march on the capital and Western African embassies evacuated citizens. Ahead of the summit, the bloc's most recent major decision was to suspend Burkina Faso's after military coup there. Heading the Egyptian delegation participating in the two-day summit was Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry. On the sidelines of his participation, Shoukry is to meet a number of African counterparts to discuss means of cooperation and boosting bilateral relations, in addition to exchanging points of view on issues of mutual concern. Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh on Saturday urged the African Union to withdraw Israel's observer status as heads of state from the 55-member body met for a two-day summit. He said Israel should never be rewarded for its violation and for the apartheid regime it does impose on the Palestinian people. The dispute erupted last July when Musa Faqih Mohammed, chairperson of the African Union Commission, accepted Israel's accreditation to the bloc. Powerful EU member states, notably South Africa, protested the decision, saying they had not been properly consulted and that the move contradicted numerous EU statements, including from Faqih himself, supporting the Palestinian territories. Earlier Saturday, Faqih said the EU's commitment to Palestinian push for independence was unchanging and can only continue to go stronger. He defended his decision, however, saying it could be an instrument in the service of peace and called for a serene debate on the issue. The summit could also see a vote on whether to back or reject Faqih's decision. Back home and to the Ministry of Health daily report regarding COVID-19, 2,291 new cases were registered. The ministry also reported that 39 deaths related to COVID-19 complications were recorded in the past 24 hours nationwide. The statement added that 2,498 patients have been discharged from quarantine hospitals after receiving the WHO protocol, raising the number of recoveries to 367,026 people.